Medical Center and Strive have teamed up to bring the most qualified medical professionals on the air to answer your questions and bring information to help you in your decisions concerning your health. Again, that's the first and third Thursday. Health Matters.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala!
Diamonds in the sunset, now your time has come. A pretty yellow bird fly away.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. I've said this quite a few times. One of my favorite types of books is biographies, and if you read a good biography and you learn about somebody who has preceded you in the past, and it's a real good biography. They're not all that good, but and I don't mean that the person's life was good. I mean the writer has decided to give you information. There are the ones who give you information. This, he did this on that date, and then there are those who he did this on that day and he loved his mother. Mm-hmm. So you have all that, and in today's world, when we look at somebody's like bio, for example, on Facebook or something like that, all right, you find out where they went to school, you find out, where they're working, maybe where they live. It doesn't tell you anything about, well, it might tell you a little bit about something that they're passionate about or something that they've worked hard for. But in any case, whether it tells you that or not, it's all data, isn't it? Our next guest has really looked at this kind of in a very profound way, and he's written a book about it. It's called We Are Data, Algorithms and the Making of Our Digital Selves. John Cheney-Lippold is an assistant professor of American culture and digital studies at the University of Michigan. This is a fascinating topic. Let me let John talk. Good morning, John. Thank you for being on the air with us today.
Good morning. Thank you to both of me for having me.
Where are you?
I'm in New York City right now, but I'm based in Ann Arbor.
So tell me where the genesis of this book came from. What was kind of the revelation for you?
So in a really techie way, I was interested in how a lot of companies were taking, not just when we type into our computers, our names, or when we say, I like my mom or I like football. They were finding ways to get every single piece of data from where you are to who you're with, to what search term you're searching for, in sequence, when you search for them, where you search for them, when you search for them. And I was just completely impressed by the amount of data, and I thought, why are they doing this? And then as I looked into a lot of Silicon Valley firms, a lot of government agencies, I realized that they were making amazing inferences about our really just basic mundane movements. So when you talk about biographies, we're providing the words for the biographies, but these agencies and these algorithms are actually writing them for us.
Wow. And is it something that every human, well, I guess every human with a computer possibly has an algorithm written about them?
It's not that they have an algorithm, it's that their data is being used. And so I would say, yeah, most of the people in this world have at least a cell phone. And that cell phone has your GPS location, it has what your phone number is, it has your MAC address, which means the hardware identifier for the phone, but it also has, other things such as which phones are nearby you. And so even if you're not intending to say anything, if you want to be completely private and completely hidden, there's ways to make your data speak. And often you don't know what it's saying, but it could, in the consequence of anything, it could make your plane ticket seem $50 more expensive, or it could mean that you are, denied the right to citizenship by the U.S. government as they're surveilling people through the NSA programs.
Is it accurate, though? I mean, does it reflect something that's accurate about ourselves?
So that for me is, I think, the exact crux of the book. It's rarely completely accurate, but it's often more accurate than you would want it to be. But the big thing is that I, for example, and your listeners can do this if they want, they just Google, what gender does Google think I am? And you can do this and it'll tell you what age and gender they think you are. And right. I'm a man in my 30s, but Google thinks I'm a 65-year-old woman.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that? But then you start thinking to it. And I have a friend who's 30. She was a 35-year-old woman, and Google thought she was a 65-year-old man. Her experience might be better because she's a cell biologist. She's doing a lot of research research, reading PDFs of articles every day, almost all the time. And so if you think, who does that? Old stodgy scientists. So she's not necessarily misrecognized, but it's a different kind of identification. It's about a gender and age. It's not about how many times you revolved around the sun.
Oh my gosh! Right? Okay.
Performance, yeah.
All right. So for part of my job, I have to put the news together, and quite often I will be searching for things that I would never search for, terms that might include espionage or spies,
terrorism.
Terms. Yeah, and I've often thought, gosh, when I'm searching for this stuff, I hope there's not some FBI agent thinking I'm looking to blow something up.
Yeah.
But there's a story, and I need more information on it, especially if there's a term that's new to me. There was even one this morning, and I'm just drawing a blank what it was. But the point is, doesn't that show up in my algorithm?
The illusory superiority complex.
Yes, the illusory superiority complex. That's what it was, Robin. It's right.
Well, I bet there's a bunch of firms thinking that you're really arrogant, or no, but honestly, and this is not to joke around in this kind of very serious thing, but like the NSA's Dragnet, so it's not the FBI who would be doing this, but the National Security Agency, their Dragnet, before a lot of the companies got wise to it, before it became public, they were really monitoring search requests. So anything that had any glimmer of terrorist relation or any glimmer of the stuff that might be, important to somebody's interest in foreign policy, or a journalist like yourself, that they would flag you. And that flagging means nothing more than their algorithms are going to spend more time looking at your information. But it could lend itself that if you're searching for more and more and more stuff, that we saw this after 9/11, that a couple people, the FBI was actually trying to go into libraries to see who was checking out what books. And this is just a new 2.0 version of that.
All right, you're in New York, right?
Yeah.
All right, I grew up in New York, but I have been here a long time, and I went to New York back in October with my son, and I was showing him all the old stuff I remembered, and I said to him, there's something that wasn't here back then. I've read about it, and long story short, it's the high rise. It's the old railroad track.
The High Line.
The High Line. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we go to the High Line, and there was these two Japanese girls taking pictures, and they wanted us to pose with them. Okay. So we did. And I thought, but that was kind of fun, wasn't it?
Cute.
They were very cute. They were very cute. All right. So, of course, my son was probably better looking to them than I was. But the point is, I said to myself, I wonder if those pictures are somewhere on the internet. So I didn't know these girls' names. So when I got home, I Googled, photo of two Asian girls with two New York guys, right? And I'm telling you, I got some images that were not even close. I mean, if you know what I mean. So does that show up in my now? It looks like I'm searching for Asian girls.
No, well, yes. Actually, that's exactly what it does. It thinks that you have whatever sexual, desires, or whatever racial profinity. But it also is that and this is not to creep you out even more, but the FBI, for example, but even the NSA, what they do is they have facial recognition algorithms. And so what they can do is, even if they upload it to Facebook, that one photo that was taken of you on the High Line, they could then parse that photo if they had access to Facebook databases and say, this looks a lot like Larry, but then they would match it with all the other photos on maybe your Facebook page, or maybe your son posted photos of you as well, and they'd be able to locate a lot of different things to triangulate the signal, and then they could potentially figure out that you are that person.
And with social media and everything today, I mean, gosh, most of the people I know are on Facebook, and you go and you see things and you click the like button. So is that a red flag also? Is that some kind of information that the government stockpiles?
So it's normally Facebook, but the government had for several years, the NSA had actually had lines into the Facebook databases. So Facebook says they didn't know about this, which we're not really sure if they were telling the truth, but the NSA was able to access the entire Facebook network, and so every like you would have, anytime you share a story, they would have information about you. But I think that the even more compelling part would be Facebook's ability to monitor the web. Is they have about from 15 to 25% of all of the top 1 million sites have a link to Facebook on their site, which means that they're sending data to Facebook and showing you where you go, or showing them where you go as you surf around the internet. And so for me, it's like any way that somebody has a lot of data about me, I get a little bit uneasy, not because I'm doing anything bad, but because I know that if somebody has more information about me than I know that they have, I can be manipulated and controlled and pay more money for a plane ticket or a hotel room than I necessarily should.
That part I don't understand. How does that happen?
So there's a very interesting 2014 study that found out that Orbitz.com was taking very, very easy, simple pieces of data and then using it to differentiate pricing. So if you used a Mac OS with a really big screen size, they thought, oh, you must have a job that requires you to maybe travel a lot, or you have a lot of excess money. And so because of that, if you have that specifics, they would show you higher plane tickets and higher hotel tickets than if you didn't.
Really?
Wow, the size of your screen.
Well, I'm fascinated all the time by the ads that show up on the side after I've done a search for something. Here at work, I know one of the guys was looking for a motorcycle online, and then after I went back to that computer, I mean, I was getting ads for motorcycles all the time. But so is that like a simple version of that? I mean,
it's a very simple version, but it's also one of the most effective. They did all these psychological tests to figure out, at what point should you show somebody an advertisement in order to compel them to buy. And so the genius part of this actually is Amazon, who they found out that people often, when they search for products on Amazon, you would go to an Amazon page for like a book, let's say my book, and you go there on like Friday night and you look at it, and then Saturday morning you go there again, and then Sunday afternoon you go there, and then eventually you buy the book, and you do this 6 times for 6 different books. The 7th book, they're just going to send you the book on Friday. And believing full well that you're going to follow the habits and kind of, logic of what your life had been before. And so the ability to almost read your mind or read your behavior, because we're all very habitual creatures, right? For me, is really interesting as well as, potentially problematic. That motorcycle, you might not necessarily want it. Your better self might be like, no, my wife or whatever. But if they can have this kind of attachment to your psychological, behaviors, they would maybe compel you to buy something that normally you wouldn't want to buy.
Now, they monitor the credit score companies, because I don't have credit cards. The only thing I have is a bank account, and I pay for everything in cash. So my credit is like, non-existent. So would they pick out a person like me to watch closer than someone that does have credit cards and things?
They would definitely profile you in a different way. I don't know if they're looking at you more closely, but it is. I would say it's a very smart thing, just because of the really crazy stuff that the credit card companies and also credit score companies are doing, which is often. And maybe this would actually be appropriate for you. Even if you don't have a credit card, the people you hang out with, the people on your Facebook feed, the people who are your friends, the people who are in your family, the people who maybe are in your neighborhood, their credit score can have constitutive effect on your credit score, not in terms of like FICO or the big credit score companies, but Facebook, for example. They have a patent that they're toying around using that says, we're not just going to give you a credit score, we're going to give you a credit score as well as allow your friends who are maybe, really good with credit, your credit score will go up because you hang out with good creditors. Oh. But if you hang out with people who are deadbeats, even if you have the best credit score in the world, your credit score actually might lower, because people think you can lie to an algorithm and pretend to have good credit, pay everything else, but maybe you offset your debts and your loans to your friends. And so they're able to get a more holistic picture, but then it allows your friends and your family to have constitutive effect on who you are as well.
Wow.
That's scary.
We'll take a little break, but we'll be right back. The book is called We Are Data. This is a fascinating topic, and I want to ask John Cheney-Lippold on the other side of the break where he sees this going in the future. And again, the book is called We Are Data. We'll take a little break and be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accidents. On this Monday, clouds and some sunshine and becoming breezy, with a shower or thunderstorm in spots arriving in the afternoon along the coast. The high 78 at the coast, 87 inland. For Monday night, clear to partly cloudy, lows in the mid to upper 50s inland, 63 along the coast. Tuesday, a mostly sunny, pleasant day with lower humidity, high 83 to 87. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Get it for less at the DIY Home Center outlet. Get top quality real wood cabinets the same or less than the big box stores are selling the cheap stuff. And that's not all. Drywall screws big box stores are $6.47 a pound. At DIY, only $4.99. Plus, DIY has the largest selection of mobile home parts and accessories anywhere. From carpet to doors, get the DIY supplies you need for less. The DIY Home Center outlet. We are your building material closeout store. 2191 Northwest 10th Street, just 2 miles east of I-75.
There are only a few things in life that you can be certain will always be around: death, taxes, the pursuit of happiness, and computers. As they continue to advance at an epic pace, the one absolute certainty about them is that they'll break. It's not an if, it's a when. And when it happens, bring it to the only company in Ocala that's certified in Apple and Microsoft, Ocala Mac and PC Repair. They even offer on-site computer repair service, so they come to you. And if you do drop it off, you can check your repair status online. Ocala Mac and PC Repair is a family-owned and operated company that can do everything from mobile repair to wireless networks, fixing viruses, data recovery, even building and installing new systems. Visit online at ocalamacpc.com. In person, 1713 East Silver Springs Boulevard, or give them a call, 352-566-8324. That's 352-566-8324. Ocala Mac and PC Repair.
Hey, this is Matt Wilkerson from Verizon. You work all day, right? So why would you want to spend your night out shopping for that new phone? Well, Marion County, let me and Verizon help you out. I can deliver to your home or office, saving you precious time. Phone, tablets, internet, home phones, even accessories. Whatever you need, we will deliver free of charge. Call me at the store, 352-528-0020. That's 528-0020.
Next Generation MD is the future of healthcare now. Listen in the first and third Thursday at 10 a.m. to learn how the future in PRP treatments are here in our area. Find out the many ways that Dr. Juan Jordan, MD, Charles Brooks, NP, and case manager Mark Shaw have brought the family medicine practice to a new level. Hear from the very people that benefit from the fine work they have done in this field. Next Generation MD every first and third Thursday at 10 a.m. here on WOCA 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
All right, 9 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. John Cheney-Lippold is on the phone. His book is called We Are Data, Algorithms and the Making of Our Digital Selves. And John, I wanted to ask you about the future. Do you speculate in the book about where this is going?
I do, in a very academic way, which means that we don't promise anything, but we kind of like suggest stuff, yeah. But I'm also really interested in connecting this to the recent privacy bill that came out. It was signed into law earlier this month. Because historically, and I want to kind of go into a rant here, historically a lot of companies like Google or Facebook, they only had a quarter, 10, 15% of your web behavior to figure out who you are. And so it wasn't a whole picture. You were able to have kind of different lives online. Maybe on Google you had a different life on Facebook, or maybe you had a private life that you could keep away from your normal, personality. But with the ISPs being able to enter this, external, it's an $83 billion industry, the online advertising industry. For allowing them to enter into that, you are giving 100% of your traffic to your ISP, because they have to, route every search you make and every kind of link you click to the company that's going. And so they have 100% of all of your communications, and that provides an unprecedented ability to figure out who you are, but also just to have a kind of, informational control over what you can do.
It is so. And the idea of having laws only applies to the country the laws are in. So I'm guessing there would be countries like, let's use North Korea as an example, who probably wouldn't care what the law said, and if they had the same technology, they could find anybody. Or am I wrong about that? Is it limited to borders in any way?
That's a really good question, because really, legal scholars they're trying, but they're knocking their heads against the wall, because a simple search from, New York City to Osceola to Florida, you might potentially be going through 3 different countries. You might go to Canada, you might go to then Mexico, and then you might go to Florida, or I might go to the UK in order to get to Florida, or I might just go New York to Florida. Because it's at light speed through fiber optic cables, it really doesn't matter where in the world you're going. So you're crossing all of these different sovereign lines, and then thus your traffic is suspect or subjugated to the laws of that country.
So if the information is usable, it has to be usable for a specific thing. And what I'm trying to say here is, if a woman is looking for a man who's going to be nice to her, she wants to know that, okay? If a company is looking to see if somebody's a credit-worthy person, they want to know that. They don't care if I'm good for the girl. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So different information is important to different entities wanting that information. How does the receiving end filter through it all?
The receiving of the user?
The person doing, okay, if the information is there about me, okay, who nobody cares about me, really, I don't think, unless I apply for a loan, then they care about me.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
Unless I was going to date somebody's daughter, then the father might care about me. Do you know what I mean? So to the end user, the father in that example, or the bank in the other example, how do they narrow it down to what they need?
In that way, there's these company called data brokers, and what they do is they say, guess what, I'm going to sell the data to both the father as well as the credit agency. And so they outsource it to these very powerful and very big companies that collect data for any purpose, really just trying to collect as much as they can, because even a search for a hockey game can suggest a bunch of stuff about you, potentially that you're a man, potentially that you maybe like beer, who knows. And so you can sell that to a beer company, you can sell that to a clothing company, that single piece of data might be meaningless in and of itself, but if you pair it with other pieces of data and find the right audience for it. But the idea is, again, these smaller companies like a credit agency is maybe not looking at all of your data, but they're asking somebody to look at all your data.
You talk about the right to be forgotten law. Can people actually petition different companies and online services to expunge them from their history?
This goes back to the legal question. In the EU, you do have the right to be forgotten. So that means that you can say, Google, I don't want you to have this link to a website that speaks bad about me, but it's libelous, slanderous, whatever. And so you can, actually request Google take it off. That doesn't mean that it's off the internet. If you went to Bing, people can still search for that link, or if you went to Yahoo, people can still access it. But it's just off the Google page, which is quite significant in and of itself, but it doesn't mean it's gone from the internet. But we don't have that in the U.S.
Do you know, I stumbled upon something that kind of surprised me. I had deleted all my email one time, just cleaned it all out, got rid of everything. And then a couple months later, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I wonder if I still have this piece of mail. And I did a little search in my search thing on my email, and it showed me all the email, even the stuff that I deleted. I mean, it's still there somewhere.
Wow.
That's fascinating. I have no idea why that would happen.
You're special.
Oh, I can show you. I'll have to show you. I couldn't believe it. I said, wow, this is from this is from 2014. Well, I know I deleted everything like last year, so it was just if it's there and I can get it, and then I'm guessing anybody can get it, right?
That's very true. A current event example of this, that's less about email, but computers are extraordinary machines, obviously, but they're made simple for us in the interface. That you drag and drop, but there's so much complex stuff going on, even when you're copying or moving your mouse around the screen, that it's hidden from us. And so what happens is that you can actually hide a lot of stuff behind the interface that users have no idea exists. So one example is the New York Times just broke this story about Uber. I think it's the New York Times, that Uber was still tracking user locations even after they deleted the application Uber. And they did this, and they avoided Apple from finding it out on the Apple iTunes Store. Because what they did is they said that if the person asking for the code, or the person accessing the phone, was from a geographic area near Cupertino, where the Apple offices are headquartered, it wouldn't show the code. And so they did this magic that made it so nobody would really figure out that they were being tracked until somebody from maybe, I think it was Washington, found it in the code. But people are very, very savvy, and they realize that even if they're not using this GPS data, they can still sell it for bunches of money to people who might be interested in for it.
Wow, I wonder if this. It sounds like everything is negative. Is there anything positive about this? Is there something we should say? Yeah, we should have this. Is there any reason?
I do, and it's always going to be a yes and no kind of thing, because even the bad stuff, some people like it, so who am I to say? In terms of healthcare, there was this one thing called Google Flu that Google used it shut down a couple years ago. But what they did is they tried to figure out who had the flu, not by doctor visits, but by what people were searching for. Because if you can get people at the level of the symptom, you can get people 6 weeks before they go to the doctor, maybe. And so if you have all this data, you have a lot of information about different people's patterns, you could potentially, prevent flu outbreaks or whatever. Yeah.
John, we got to go, but thank you so much. The book is called We Are Data. I just found it on Amazon. It's a brand new book, so go get it.
Amazing.
It's a fascinating subject. John Cheney-Lippold, thank you so much for being on the air with us today. We'll be right back.
This is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. With the Friday deadline looming in Congress to avoid a government shutdown, money for a border wall is a sticking point.
Attorney General Jeff Sessions.
I can't imagine the Democrats would shut down the government over an objection to building a down payment on a wall.
Lawmakers were expecting to take up wall funding later, but last week the administration said they want the money now.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland. In New Orleans, the first of 4 Confederate statues has been taken down. Arguments broke out overnight as work began.
If there was a vote, they wouldn't be taking it down in the middle of the night.
Politicians in office that made that decision, right?
Some say the monuments are racist and offensive. Others say they're part of the city's history. A lawyer for the doctor dragged from a United flight 2 weeks ago says it's too late for the airline CEO to apologize face-to-face. He told NBC's Today Show his client intends to file suit. Fox News, we report, you decide.
My number 2 does not look like a number 2. I don't know what to call it. Is there a number 3?
Table for 4, please. Anything close to the restroom.
A middle seat with these stomach problems? That's my fear of flying.
Sound like you? If it does, you could be one of the many people with a digestive condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. Even if you don't know what EPI is, you might know the symptoms. Frequent diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain. If you have even just one of these symptoms, you could still have EPI, because not everybody experiences EPI the same way, which is why it's so important to open up to your doctor about all your symptoms. And the good news is, EPI is manageable, so don't keep a lid on it. Go to identifyepi.com, complete the symptom checker, and use it to have a conversation with your doctor. Don't keep a lid on it. Visit identifyepi.com. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Today in Florida Ag News from the Southeast AgNet, we have our weekly Commissioner Spotlight.
Joining us once again is Florida's Commissioner of Agriculture, Adam Putnam, and Executive Chef Justin Timoneri. They're here to share a little bit about the fresh recipe videos. Commissioner?
Chef Justin Timoneri is here with me today because we have a new fresh recipe video being released this Friday on the Fresh from Florida Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages. Chef, tell us a little bit about this new recipe.
Today I'm excited to show you guys the Florida cucumber and sweet pepper salad. All great ingredients that I know you guys are going to love. Some Florida cucumbers, a little bit of red onion, of course our sweet bell peppers, a little vinegar. We're not even really doing any cooking with heat here. We're just putting together fresh ingredients that are going to combine to make a great side dish for whatever you're cooking. So check out this recipe and make sure to watch the video. Thank you, Commissioner Putnam and Chef Justin. Remember, you can follow The Fresh by following Fresh from Florida on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For Commissioner Spotlight, I'm Gary Siemens.
I'm the neighbor with the orange tractor. I plant, grow, harvest, haul, and feed. Caring for the land is a responsibility we all share out here. For our families, for ourselves, for us all. This is why I do it. Kubota. Right now, a Kubota M7 can be yours with 0% financing for up to 84 months. Now through May 31st, 2017. Call toll-free 1-800-794-4992. Details about cost and terms.
Hey, Mike, what's the word today?
Well, the way crop prices fluctuate, I might try to save money on my nutrition program this year. What do you think?
Well, did you end up using Black Max 22 last year? It's been part of our nutrition program the last 5 years, and it can put between $10 and $50 an acre into my pocket year after year.
Oh, that's the one you told me about. It's designed to help my soil provide nutrition better and cut down on burn from fertilizer, right?
That's LHC technology.
Okay, I think I'll give old Black Max 22 a try.
Black Max 22. If you feed it, you need it. See your local CPS retailer today.
Randall Wiseman, Southeast AgNet.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala.